Hey guys, I'm back again. Welcome to Packet Buzz. In today's video, I'd like to show you 5 insanely useful commands in JunOS. And you'll be wondering why you waited this long to make the switch from Cisco, or Dell, or whatever you used previously. Alright, so I'm here again in my favorite topology with 2 QFX switches. So the first command that we're going to talk about is a command called replace. Now, replace lets you replace a specific command or a pattern of text rather with something else without having to, delete the whole configuration and then paste it in again, like you might have to do in other operating systems. So for example, let's look at interface XE003 here. We've got VLAN 100 there. Let's see, and we have here interface XE004. Let's say we would like to replace VLAN 100 with VLAN 200 without having to remove the command. So we will enter the interface stanza or the interface section of the configuration, and from here we would replace pattern VLAN 100 with VLAN 200. If we do show compare here, we can see that it's going to remove VLAN 100 from XE003 and add VLAN 200 instead. So from here we can commit it if we feel that it's correct. And now let's go on with the next command, which is called copy, or we use it to copy interfaces mostly between each other. So for example, let's say that you've got interface XE003 again, and let's say you want to copy the whole interface, without copy pasting it to another interface. Let's say you want to configure all the contents. Let's delete interface XE005 here, so it's completely empty. And let's say you would like to copy the XE003 interface as it is to the interface XE005. Then you would only have to do copy interface XE003 to, and here you have to type out the whole interface. You can't tab it, so you need to type out the whole, the receiving interface. And you do enter. Then we'll do a show pipe compare in order to see what happens. Now because I deleted 005, it shows that it's going to delete it, and then it's going to add this configuration to it. And this is pretty cool. It's a huge time saver. So if we go here and have a look at XE005, you can see that it now contains the configuration. Now, I already showed you my third, let's say, most useful command, which is actually a combination of show compare, check, commit check, and rollback, and commit, and stuff like that. So one of the main benefits with JunOS is the fact that every time you add something to the configuration, it never becomes active until you do a commit. Now, before you do a commit, you should always do a show pipe compare to see what's actually going to be changed if you commit the configuration commands that you did. Let's use interface XE005 as an example again. Let's delete it, and then we'll do a show pipe compare, and we can see here it's going to remove XE005 if we commit this configuration as it is. If we are unsure that the commands are correct, or that something might, some dependencies might be lacking or so, then we can do a commit check. It's always to do it anyway. It's always good to do commit check anyway, to make sure that everything is correctly typed. Sometimes you might be missing something and the commit will fail, so it's always good to do a commit check. Alright, so if the commit check succeeds and we think that the commands are what we want, then we'll go ahead and commit. So it's pretty pretty easy commands, but it's great. It's very, very helpful. Now let's see that if that commit was wrong, let's say you want to go back to the previous state, you'll just do show pipe compare rollback question mark, and here you can see the 50 latest configurations that were done on the device. Let's say you want to compare the current configuration to, for example, rollback 1 here, or configuration 1. We can see here that compared to the configuration 1, this is missing, which is probably correct, because in 1 we had XE005, but we removed it, right? And the 0 is the current configuration, the current state of the config. So let's say we want to roll back to 1, then we do show interface XE005, and the config is back there again. It's very, very useful. So obviously now we have to, of course, commit the configuration after we roll back, so it's still not going to be active. Now let's say that you again change your mind and you go like, oh no, I wasn't supposed to roll back to this, what should I do? You can do a rollback 0. Then you've again rolled back the changes that you rolled back to previously. It sounds a bit confusing maybe, but it's a really powerful set of commands. So that's really helpful. All right, so let's say the next command, it's called a wildcard configuration, and this means, because in Cisco you can do interface range, or you can enter multiple interfaces at once if you want to configure something. In Juniper, you have to use a command called the wildcard. So you would type, for example, let's say you want to add VLAN 100 to a bunch of interfaces, or let's use 200. Then we'll have to do wildcard range set interface, just like always when you configure interfaces, right? So we'll say we'd like to add from interface 003 to 10, for example. You have to use brackets here like this, depending on which variable you want to change. But in this case, you want to apply something to interfaces 3 to 10. So we'll go OK unit 0, family internet switching, VLAN members, VLAN 200. Anyway, when we do show pipe compare, you can see here that you have all these interfaces that are going to be changed. So this is a huge time saver. It's awesome when you're configuring multiple interfaces. Very, very helpful. It's one of the first commands I looked up how to do when I went over to Juniper many years ago. Alright, so the last command is simply about saving configuration output to a file. So if we do show here, you'll see all this configuration is huge, lots of stuff here. Now let's say you want to save it to a file without having to show the whole configuration and copy pasting it to a notepad or whatever. You'll just do show pipe save, let's call it my awesome config.txt, and you do enter. Then it saves all the output, the whole config. Then let's exit configuration mode, and then we'll do list file. Oh, it's file list, yeah. Then you'll see it here, my awesome config.txt. And this one, and you can easily load the configuration as well by doing load override like this. Load override and then the text file, and then enter. Then you'll load the whole configuration into the device. See, load is complete there, very fast. And then with show compare, you'll see everything that will be changed again. All right, guys, that's it. Short and sweet. I hope this was helpful for you, and thanks for viewing. Take care. See you next time.